why reaching out to your avoidant ex after the breakup is a horrible, horrible idea. I wanted to address this because I've seen this in the comments of my videos. Should I reach out to my ex? No, you should not. And also, I see it on, other people's YouTube channels. I've heard this question I've heard this question asked in my client, practice and during sessions. So I'm going to address that once and for all right here in this video. And the answer is obviously no. But why? Why shouldn't you reach out to your ex? I think what a lot of you guys, this question is coming from a place of scarcity. This question is coming from an anxious attachment. That is where this is coming from, right? The fear of loss. Now, here's the truth. And I know this may really hurt, but I don't want to lie to you guys. I think what you guys have to understand is there are cases where you may never have really had them. And what I mean by that is they never fully committed to you. Or they just don't know how to love you in a way where they're not willing to just separate from you, right? And what I mean by that is obviously they're being, an avoidant, them being an avoidant. All they know how to do is pull away when you get close. And so that being the case, they've done this throughout their life. They've developed this strategy throughout their life. And so they've gotten really good at it. And because they've done this before, they understand the predictable patterns that people that typically date them, most likely you being the avoidant or the anxious attachment, they're going to notice that these behaviors come up over and over again. The wanting to reach out, the bids for connection, all of these things. So tell me if this is you. They pull away, you start getting stressed, you start panicking, you act like it doesn't matter, but it really does. You're completely preoccupied throughout the day with what they're doing, what this means, what this doesn't mean. When are they going to reach out again? Are they going to reach out again? Am I going to be alone forever? Was I ever loved truly? Did I ever matter? Am I ever going to find somebody else again? Am I enough? What does this mean? All of these things come up, right? And so you have to understand where that's coming from. Now, I have an 8-week program designed for you to actually nip this in the bud, right? Once and for all. Because the real problem isn't that they just left. The real problem is that not only did they leave, but you contributed to it because you were attracted to someone who just doesn't know how to give you what you need emotionally and isn't capable of it. And you go through this pattern over and over again. So let's say you finally start to, withdraw from that pain, and it's been a year, right? And then you start learning to put yourself out there again. You meet this other person, you think they're great, and next thing you know, you're right back in the same situation. It's because you never healed that attachment that you have, which is most likely anxious attachment. Could possibly be fearful, avoidant attachment, but that's for another video. For now, we're going to focus on the anxious. Now, that being said, there is a systematic process to healing those core wounds, which is what's driving your behavior. Now, this person is expecting that you're going to reach out, that you're going to break no contact, because that's what always happens. So when you do that, that confirms that yes, you're there, you're safe, you're not going anywhere, and therefore they get their dopamine hit, and they're not going to, they're not going to honor that you reached out. They're going to look at you and say, I got them. They're still there. It's going to reinforce and confirm for them that what they did was the right thing, that how they show up in the world is the correct way to be, that pulling away to be safe, that is the proper way to be and the right thing to do. So by you doing that, even if it hurts, to not do that, and I get why you would want to do that, trust me, I get it. But for a year and a half in my own life, I maintained no contact because The alternative was, in my head, the one thing that I did know at the time was that if I was to break no contact, that would actually push them further away, not closer. And what I wanted at the time was for them to come closer so I could get some sort of resolution, so I could make peace with that situation and finally heal. And so I knew that breaking no contact from my end was going to completely, destroy that goal. So I hope that helps. Like, follow, and subscribe for more videos like this.